Hi there. My name's John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where I take a look at the lectionary text and I tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree, the junk drawer, the kids' room, and the garage. That's how I've been doing it. Thank you so much for being here, spending a little bit of your week with me in this way, and for your partnership in this ministry. It means the world to me. But most importantly, thank you for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregation and your families. You, my friend, are rocking it. Thank you. This is for the narrative lectionary. We're still in Revelation, and we're looking at God creating new, that all the tears will be wiped away, that death will be no more. It is finished, Alpha and the Omega, all of those things. And where all of like last week, the text was so scary. 666, 668, the neighbor of the beast, all of those things. But this week, I lean into it. So a couple of the things that I want to lift up, springboards, that some of them I've used before, some of them are new, or at least if I've used them, it's been long enough that I can't remember. But a couple of the ones that definitely lean into this that I know I've used before is a pack of tissues. You could, a pack of tissues or a pack of Band-Aids. Those things that when we are hurt, we help someone. When my niece was really, really young, she would ask my dad, her grandpa, for a Band-Aid, and it got to be a running thing that every year for her birthday, my dad, her grandpa, gets a Costco-sized pack of Band-Aids of different things like that, and gives them to her every year. She gets a new pack, and it really is a gift of love, a gift of memory, a gift of love, and it's just a very special connection between those two. And so the sense of a Band-Aid, it's like we all have either you experienced it as a child or with a child, Sunday school, or doing some activity where a kid falls and hurts themselves, and they need something to make them better, to keep and to remove the tears, and that Band-Aid on a scrape does amazing and miraculous things. So a Band-Aid, tissue. We have at our church, we have boxes of tissue everywhere, but there are boxes of tissue that we especially pull out when there's a funeral. And the sense of, and there's just that box alone speaks volumes about what that is for, about wiping the tears from our eyes, and that God promises in the world to come, God promises us in the restoration that there will be a time where there will be no more death, there will be no more tears. And so those directions, which speak volumes, and I'm leaning into those. The other is that Alpha and Omega, that the beginning and the end, and having a place in the congregation where you have a starting line, and you have a starting line and a finish line, and talking about how God is present at the beginning, at the starting line, and God is present at the end line, at the finish line, and God is present all the way throughout. And maybe that's a way of a teaching moment in the children's sermon, of talking about what is Alpha and Omega. And it's the A and the Z. It's the beginning, it's the end. And God is in the beginning, and God is in the end, and God is everywhere in between. So looking at creating that. Maybe a rope where you measure something. If you have a long cloth, tape measure. I say a cloth tape measure. There's something about using the regular tape measure that I'm always like, I'm afraid I'm going to cut myself because of the very thin sheet metal kind of thing. But anyway, that's my own fear, and God will wipe away that tear. Amen. But so those are some of the directions, looking at that God is with us in the beginning and with the end and all the way in between, teaching about Alpha and the Omega, and the A and the Z, the beginning and the end, and all of that, or the Band-Aids, tissue, about how the promise of God is secure, that God holds us in God's grace, and the promise about what God is doing and recreating and reforming and all of that. And then we also get to be the hands and the feet of Christ and help our neighbors when they are going through hard times and are hurting, that we get to be the one that helps comfort them in their pain and in their hurt. And that's the promise, that we are there with them. All right, I'm hoping this can be a springboard for your own children's sermon. Again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way. Thank you for the partnership in this ministry. I appreciate it greatly. And thank you, most importantly, for the love that you are sharing with your kids and your congregation and your families. You, my friend, are rocking it. All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.